Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Thursday, November 2nd, 2017. I am Jarren Williams. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change, albeit a tad late today for reasons we're not allowed to share for national security. We are joined by the man himself, 24/7 Sports Director of Recruiting, Steve Wiltfong. Steve, how goes it?
Daniel, going well. 60 degrees, a little rainy. Pacers coming off a back-to-back, go to Cleveland and make Cleveland their town last night, 124-107. My man Bill Kurlick texted me before the ball game. He knew it was coming, so it's not as fun to rub it in when he predicted a Cavs loss. But either way, the Pacers are 5-3. Kurlick's beloved Cavs, 3-5, and I'm feeling good early in the NBA season about that.
If you guys want to hear the bonus coverage, tune in to our cable channel and get the video download of Steve and I having a 25-minute conversation on the NBA before we started taping. However, Steve timed this beautifully. He has arranged the quarterback carousel to coincide with his appearance on the Bucknuts Morning 5. I'm sure all of you have read this already. 2018 quarterback Jarren Williams has received an offer from the Ohio State Buckeyes. He's a Georgia native like every other good quarterback in this class. And there's another Georgia quarterback in this class coming into Ohio State already, and Emory Jones. Steve, I'm going to let you have the floor here. Bring us up to speed. You broke the story. Take us where we need to go here.
All I reported this morning was that Ohio State has extended a scholarship offer to Jarren Williams, the top 247 quarterback recruit out of Lawrenceville, Central Gwinnett, Georgia. Williams told me the Buckeyes offered last night. Ohio State's had Williams on the radar for a while. I think Coach Day's been down there to check him out, and Jarren's had some dialogue with Urban Meyer, and Ohio State has extended a scholarship offer to Williams, and we'll see where it goes from here. He's been committed to Kentucky since May. He has a great relationship with the Wildcat staff. Sees a tremendous opportunity to be an early impact guy for a Kentucky football team that I believe is sitting at 6-2 right now. So Kentucky, they've recruited well under Coach Stoops. Jarren Williams is a guy that could potentially take them to the next level. But Ohio State also has the stage he's looking for to come in and certainly play for a program where you're guaranteed to compete for a national championship. And I think that there is some intrigue in Ohio State with Jarren Williams and his family, and we'll see where things develop moving forward.
Okay, that's cool. But what do you make of the fact that this offer comes when they already have a commitment from Emory Jones?
Well, I think it's obvious that Emory Jones is looking at other schools, and Ohio State's seen a lot of senior tape. You know, we're at the end of the senior seasons now, and Ohio State's been able to evaluate a lot of guys, and they're going to go on the next best guys. And I think that there's more. There's a chance that we could see more of these opportunities pop up, and you just have to, they obviously love Emory Jones, and they're doing everything they can to keep him in the class, but they're not going to get caught without a quarterback. They feel they need one.
Where do you think the nerves on Emory Jones come from? Do you think he's headed elsewhere? What's the vibe on why?
I personally think it's getting to the point where Emory Jones is going elsewhere. He's taken multiple visits to Alabama, and he was just back at Ohio State this weekend. I asked one prospect on campus if he thought Emory would stick, and he said he wasn't sure. So I don't know what Emory was saying to the guys when he was on campus, but at least one recruit that was there, he didn't put the recruitment to bed for him. So again, Ohio State, they do as much due diligence and recon as anyone, and they'd like to keep Emory Jones, but there's plenty of other good quarterbacks out there, and if it's not going to be Emory Jones, they're going to find one that's suitable to handle the challenges of playing quarterback at a place like Ohio State.
Here's my vibe on it, if you'd like to hear it. I think there's a lot of factors involved here. Obviously, Emory Jones' eye is wandering. The question is why. I think he's looked at the depth chart and realizes it's going to be tough for him to get on the field at Ohio State. And if you look at the succession plan, Yeah, but if you look at the succession plan, it's not the same as Ohio State's. Go look at it. There's no
pretty close.
Tate Martell on there. No.
No, you're
Tate
you're
Martell
right.
third string. He knows they already offered Jack Miller at 2020, who's probably going to be a stud. Here's another thing I think people haven't taken into account, or at least I didn't until I really thought about it. This isn't Urban Meyer's offense anymore. This is Ron Wilson's offense. Okay?
Kevin Wilson.
You don't get the joke. That's a little anyway. Some people are going to really like this part of the show. He was the ideal. I remember Bill telling me he thought he was Bill Kerlick telling me he was the ideal guy to run Urban's offense. I don't know if that's the case anymore. The tweaks that have been made in the passing game, I'm not sure Emmy Jones is the best one to do it. And truthfully, if you look back at the last year, Jarren Williams has been just as good a quarterback as Emmy Jones. When he went to the Elite 11s, I mean, he made it to Elite 11. I've said this before. If you watch that show, he outplayed Trevor Lawrence for most of that thing once he got to the final. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I just wonder if Emory wants to be closer. I just wonder if Emory wants to be closer to home, or if people around him want him to be closer to home. I think when you look at Alabama, you look at Ohio State. Yeah, maybe Ohio State's got a third-string quarterback that's better than Alabama's third-string quarterback. But at the top, Alabama's got two talented quarterbacks in Hurts and then Tulia Tagovailoa sitting behind him. So I think if Emory Jones does end up pulling out of this Ohio State class, geography and being closer to home and family might have more to do than the depth chart.
This probably all goes into one cocktail here, but very interesting to watch. I will be very interested to see if they offer any other guys, especially some committed guys like Williams, because with the coaching carousel about to turn, I'm just looking at the top quarterbacks here. You got quarterbacks at UCLA, which could make a move. You never know. Tennessee's got a quarterback committed. So there's going to be guys out there for them to pilfer. So we will see. Very interesting stuff.
It's Ohio State. Everyone's a potential pilfer.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean they're going to flip anyone they want, but you tend to get a callback if you're Ohio State and you extend a scholarship to a quarterback or anybody. You tend to get at least a callback.
Alan Walters, by the way, strong pedigree in terms of his schooling, but I digress. All right, man. You're going to have to pay the piper here. Last week we discussed Penn State, Ohio State. You actually, if you go back and listen, you had your prediction pretty close. Had Ohio State not come back and won the game at the very end, it pretty much would have gone according to script, the way you predicted, maybe not the details. What's your vibe on the Buckeyes and the Big Ten after seeing that, and maybe what your thoughts were when you saw the first playoff and how it could affect the Buckeyes?
Well, I think the right team won the football game on Saturday. It just took them 59 minutes to take the lead. I think it was obvious that they're better at the point of attack than Penn State, and that's ultimately where games are won. I think that at the skill positions, it's pretty even. I'd even give Penn State the edge on offensive skill but up at the point of attack, Ohio State really took that football game over on both sides of the ball. They're late and made up for their lack of execution early. And I'm following the game along, watching it with 24/7 Sports users and just seeing all the blame going on the coaches when the players just weren't executing. It's just irresponsible as fans. I'm just growing tired of the Urban Meyer questioning that happens when Ohio State loses one football game. It's really just preposterous. And had Ohio State lost to a Penn State team that I think is still a top 5 team, and maybe that'll be proved wrong later, but as it stands right now, I think Penn State's still a top 5 team in the country. If Ohio State would have lost to Penn State and Oklahoma, worse shit could happen to a football team. So anyway, I think Ohio State's got a team that's good enough to win the national championship, and now they're back in position to get there. I didn't like the first college football playoff poll, and I need to pull it up here real quick. I'm okay with Georgia and Alabama being 1 and 2, Georgia being 1. I would probably go Alabama 1. I know they're like, who has Alabama played? Doesn't matter, man. They got a bunch of NFL guys running around, and that's why I like them a ton. Georgia, they got Notre Dame 3. I would have put Oklahoma 3. I think Oklahoma has the best win this season, going into Columbus and beating an Ohio State team that I think is better than Notre Dame. I do like Notre Dame, don't get me wrong, but I like Ohio State and Penn State better than Notre Dame. And I think that if Penn State played Notre Dame's schedule, they would be 7-1 right now. The same record they have, but they could easily be 7-1 if not undefeated themselves. Maybe they beat Georgia at home if Georgia has to come to Happy Valley. So I would have ranked Oklahoma 3. I got to go head to head there. I get that teams are getting better as the season goes along. I also am one that doesn't think that teams get up for every game, and I know Oklahoma lost at home to Iowa State, but they came to Columbus and really kicked Ohio State's butt, and that game could have been worse, and that means something to me. And if Oklahoma can win out, I think you keep them one spot ahead of Ohio State, and then that works itself out on the field as they both should make the playoffs then, right? So Oklahoma, I would have ranked 3. I'd ranked Ohio State 4. I would have put Penn State 5 there, and then I would have had Notre Dame in there behind Clemson. I would have went Clemson 6, just because I think Penn State's offense is playing better than Clemson's offense. Clemson's defense is as elite as it gets. They can really lock you down. And I know, again, Clemson lost to Syracuse, but when the playoffs come around, teams are going to be locked in. You know what I'm saying? They're not. So Clemson in a game where they're locked in, I love their defense. You know what I'm saying? So they lost to Syracuse on a Friday night game. That's a weird scheduling. You go there. I'm not making excuses for them. They lost the game, but you know what I'm saying? When they get in the playoffs,
Sure.
They're going to play well. And then, so I like them.
It was a calamity game for them. Their quarterback went down. It was a Friday night game on the road in the Carrier Dome. I get you.
Sure. I would rank Clemson 6 and Notre Dame 7. That's how I would have it. And then I would have went Miami 8, Wisconsin 9, TCU 10. Miami, people aren't giving them much respect, and I don't think they're better than the 7 teams I listed, but they are getting a lot of turnovers on defense, and they've been opportunistic on offense. They're having a great year. I'm excited to watch them play Virginia Tech this weekend.
Yeah, I see Virginia Tech getting some stuff done there. I've been very impressed. Virginia Tech's kind of been quietly very good over the last month. Here's what I think has not been discussed enough is the Alabama and Georgia at 1 and 2. I don't think both of them are going to go to the playoff. People have just kind of assumed those two are in. I don't see how that's possible.
Well, it's possible if. It's possible if the college football playoff committee, they love Notre Dame right now. Like you and I, we think Ohio State's better than Notre Dame. And I don't know if you agree with me on Penn State, and I think Oklahoma is better than Notre Dame. Now, so if Georgia runs the table and goes to the SEC championship game and loses a close one to Alabama, and the committee still loves Notre Dame, you can't put Notre Dame ahead of Georgia. Georgia went to South Bend and won the game. So that is one thing I'm tracking, and that's how I can see 2 teams getting in.
But the comparison
if the committee loves Notre
Dame. I get that. They love Notre Dame and Ohio State and Alabama because they drive the TV ratings. I get that. But I find it hard to believe that Ohio State could win more than 10 games in a row with wins over Penn State, who we agree is a top 5 team, and a win on a neutral field against what's going to be an undefeated Wisconsin team. And they're the Big Ten champion. And they don't go to the playoffs?
I think I
don't see that as being possible.
I
hope
don't
see it being possible.
I hope you're right, but I'm giving you a scenario where it certainly could happen because if the committee's loving Notre Dame, they have to love Georgia even with 1 loss. Because Georgia's schedule down the stretch, it's not like people are like, well, what if Georgia doesn't play well? For them to go undefeated in the SEC title game, they still have to keep playing well. They have South Carolina this week, then they play Auburn, then they play Kentucky, and then they play Georgia Tech. All those teams have winning records. And I'm not saying that's murderers row, but it goes toe-to-toe with pretty much what everybody else has left. So if they win,
it's certainly going to be interesting.
You know, those are 4 solid wins.
No question. And someone told me this yesterday, and it kind of brought me back to reality or reminded me of this. when Ohio State won the title in 14, the original rankings came out for the college football playoff. They were number 16. So Mississippi State is number 16 right now. I don't think they're going to win it. But that lets you know how far they came from behind, and they've got every opportunity to do it. So I'm not particularly worried about them getting it.
The Buckeyes have three solid games at Iowa. That's a good win. I mean, Iowa's not a team that you got to go there. You got to go there and be ready to play to win. And then Michigan State at home. The Spartans are 6-2 right now, and then at Michigan, Michigan they got a chance to beat Wisconsin themselves, and so that'll be a good win.
That wouldn't surprise me.
You got the Big Ten championship game, and so Ohio State, the slate is there. I'm just fearful if you're a Buckeyes fan that if the committee continues to love Notre Dame and Georgia continues to handle their business, and then you need Georgia. You almost got to root for Georgia to beat Bama. You can leave a one-loss Bama team out if they're not a conference champion and you want to put a conference champion in. I get that, but if you're loving Notre Dame, you have to love Georgia if Georgia wins out until they play Bama.
And then if Oklahoma wins out, I see that could be a doomsday scenario. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate Steve being on the ball and getting a scoop to start the day. Have a good one, Bucknutters.
Go Pacers, baby. See you guys.